Welcome back to the Prof G and Shively Next Play Podcast, episode 12. Matt, how you doing today?
Doing great, Jason. Good to have you back on the
I know,
show
right?
here.
I watched you from a distance last week calling your games and did a fantastic job, if I might say so.
Thank you, man. It was definitely missed you.
The headset was nice and clear, able to hear everything you were calling. That was good.
Good. Yeah, it sounded pretty good sound-wise. And it's fun, basketball, you get to think about things like your different words you drop in for big plays and things like that. So we'll have fun experimenting with that.
Yeah, because we were at the end of the other season, so we'd kind of been using some phrases up until the end, and now you're back into a new season again. And you got to start saying, how do I say that?
Right. So
I see you pulled a couple of nicknames from the old PA days last year, and one of them stuck. I saw men's basketball posted a shot of JD Walker, and they said JD Skywalker in the post.
That's awesome.
So
I had this revelation, Jimmy Kazi.
Yep.
He wants to be known as Jimmy Buckets, he told us. And I even gave him my alternative, which I think is excellent. And I'm going to still work on him. Because Jimmy Buckets is straight up Jimmy Butler. Like, you're borrowing from a pro. Be yourself is what
I heard you say that during the broadcast. And I was like, he's not Jimmy Butler. That's our own guy. That's Jimmy. That's our guy, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
But so, now it's good to know that he has to do that.
Right? Yeah. Kazi's his last name. Kamikaze. It's right there.
Kamikaze.
It's amazingly right there.
Sacrificing himself for the cause as well.
Kamikaze. Like that. Jimmy Kamikaze sounds so much better.
You wouldn't use both, would you? When you're calling the game,
you can mix them in.
You just say, look at that put back by Kamikaze. Right?
You could. We'll figure that one out.
Anyway, well done on those on that. And you got to see another women's soccer win.
Yeah, it was again, it was an honor getting to do the senior day festivities ahead of time as well. And those girls were really emotional. They got really emotional after the game too, kind of realizing it's over for the seniors. But it was a great win. It was well-rounded. They all contributed. It wasn't just, one or two girls scoring all the goals. It was very well spread out.
My Wi-Fi connection wasn't as good that time of the day, and so I watched about maybe half of it.
Yeah.
Not straight through, but off and on throughout the game, and it looked like a pretty, like you said, well-balanced performance from everybody. So not to get way ahead of myself, but I'm glad you like doing senior days and stuff like that, because I'm not here the last basketball game of the season either.
Look at that.
So you'll be doing senior night for men's basketball as well.
Forecasting that.
Business trip this time, not fun. So I wish I could say I was going on a fun trip, but I will be on a plane that night. So anyway, though, how's your voice today? My voice is a little off today, but you called 3 games in a row, so
feeling okay.
Yeah,
feeling okay.
A little recovery time since Saturday.
Taught a couple classes yesterday, so kind of back at it with the voice, but good. Yeah, not bad.
Did the Grove online, hosting that you always do a great job at too. So, man, your voice was probably having it.
I guess it's stretched out a little bit. I don't know.
So tell me, exciting, obviously, for the women's soccer team. That was, I know it's a small conference we play in, but that was the conference championship.
It was. It's a small conference. I think the last game against Nelson was, you called that one, and it was one-sided affair, which this one was a little bit of a one-sided affair as well. But this felt better.
Did they play full this week?
They had a full team.
Yes.
With a couple subs. So you didn't feel like you're just beaten up on a beleaguered bunch like you once did with
good alliteration there, by the way.
Yes, thank you. With an eight person squad, So they had a full team. And so they did really good. Again, we had contributions by a couple seniors. So Michaela Thorvin scored the first goal. It was really cool. On senior day, her daughter got to walk with her.
Oh, that's cool.
As she was honored. So that was pretty neat. And so she scored the first goal.
She's put a lot into these last few years of getting this degree with all the athletics and life in general.
Life happening. Yeah. Good
job for Michaela. Yep.
There was a little snafu with her bio. Coach Mike sent me it attached to a different girl.
Shall you make an addendum here on the podcast?
No, I made an addendum.
Oh, you made an addendum then. Okay, good.
But it was that, Courtney Day walks over and is like, hey, you just read the other girl's bio. I'm like, I don't have it. She's like, just read it. I'm like, but I don't have it. And so Mike finally sends it to me when they were basically all walking off. And I said, I'd like to make fresh off the presses. We have one more bio to read. And she looked like she was smiling and enjoying that. So.
And then you did some post-game interviews after that as well.
So did that. Like I said, Michaela scored the first goal. Raquel added 2. So 3 goals from the seniors. Aaliyah added 1. her goal was off a corner kick, which is really good. Then we've had the privilege of talking to Kaylee Garcia a few times. She's helped.
Not just talking; she's
helped us on the camera twice now, and she comes up to me before the game and is like, "I won't be able to help you," and I'm like, "Oh," and she's like, "Because I'm playing." And I'm like, "Oh, that's the best reason." And so Joseph Nasir helped me on camera this week.
I was going to say, who are you calling out as the camera operator?
Yeah. He was
basketball and soccer. Or who did basketball?
Soccer. Well, that was Ziggy on Thursday. Helped me out, and Malayla helped me on Friday.
Spreading it out, man. You're getting lots of people to help.
Yeah. We're and Malayla offered, came up to me and said, "Hey, I'd love to help if you need." But back to the game. So Kaylee couldn't help us. She was playing. She scored a goal. She got in, and she was in for maybe a minute, and just got this beautiful deflection that popped right in front of her, and she buried it.
Almost like she was waiting, had it saved up, right?
Oh,
all that time out.
She just literally jumping up and down for joy. Her teammates were all over that, and then Krista scored an added one. Another. You don't usually see
Krista goals, but that's a great contribution.
Midfielder or even a defender often, and she got in there. So spread the wealth, which is really great. And then, like you said, I got to interview Kaylee about her goal and a few others as well. Tasha and then Cameron.
You don't need to remember them all because people listening can just go to our YouTube channel and watch those interviews back.
Yeah, so we have a separate video out just on those interviews, some post-game reactions from the girls and wrapping up their season. And then basketball, the back-to-back nights.
Well, I'm going to pause you first and say
do.
Congratulations, Mike Navarro and women's soccer.
Great.
Just the accomplishment of where they came from even a year ago to now. What a great way to, and even throughout this season, we saw a kind of a rough struggle at the beginning. And then as the season went on, we started getting closer games. And then they ended the season off. I know most of them were against Nelson, but they got several wins in a row and a tie in there too. I don't think they lost many games in the last 6 or 7.
No.
So way to finish strong and get that conference championship.
Strong. The seniors were some of these seniors have been there. Ari has been there since day one. And Amy,
playing with club players that they had to pull in the last second.
Club player. Amy had a great career at Justice. McKenna did amazing. Tasha, as I mentioned earlier, she was a good interview, and she had she transferred in as a senior. So this was her 1 year at Justice, but it was her senior year, and she really, you would think she's been here since day one.
I was a little bummed. I didn't realize a couple of them were seniors. I just had to be like, oh, I thought they still had another year, and now I'm sad because they'll be leaving.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I'm missing one, and it's going to bother me so bad. But we mentioned Raquel and Michaela already as well. So if we missed it, I apologize.
That's okay.
It's not.
You didn't miss it on the game.
I did not. Yes.
So basketball. Let's jump into that. We had obviously they went up to NAU. We haven't done a podcast since then.
We've not. Yeah, it took a little bit of a shellacking up there.
Not as bad as it could have been though, as we saw in their first home game.
Their second half. If you just take the second half, they lost by 8.
Yeah. At one point, I think even late into the second half, they were outscoring NAU in the second half.
Right. And
then the end of the game, kind of NAU pulled away, which is what the bigger teams tend to do.
And we've said this before, and it was definitely true. The energy output, which is being against a big brother, like really knowing you're going to have to try. They pressed early and often. I think they just wound down a little bit by the end. There were some foul outs as well. But Ray King, 29 points in that game against a D1 opponent. So that was definitely
an unfortunate foul out, too, because I think Jaden Cameron fouled out and didn't realize that. I think they miscalled a foul earlier in the game on J.D. Walker that actually was attributed to Jaden. So Jaden fouled out thinking he only had 4. So that's unfortunate when you think you're playing with 4 and you're actually – or playing with 3 and you're actually playing with 4.
Yeah.
But, yeah, great showing at NAU. I don't think they were disappointed. Obviously, they're disappointed to lose, but I think they were – proud of the effort they put in just from talking to some of the guys. And then they come back and they play the 2 games you called against Navajo Tech. And that led me to say it wasn't as bad as it could have been because that first one was about 80-point victory and the second one was 60 almost.
Yeah, they were close. They were both about 70 points, kind of the mean of the two. And I was impressed with their attitude, Navajo Tech. how they were taking an absolute shellacking and respectable. Their fans a lot of their fans were watching our broadcast. One of the coaches took the YouTube link and sent it out to the families, and so a lot of them were watching it, and they were all very respectful online. And so they're going to play 2 there here upcoming. What the schedule says.
I told you about the character they're recruiting there too. So good on Navajo Tech for bringing in the right kind of guys and being good sports regardless of the situation. Absolutely. They're a new program too, though. I mean, I know we are as well, but I don't think they've had a men's basketball program very long, much longer than us, if at all.
Yeah, and they brought about, I think they only brought about 10 guys out, so I'm sure their legs were getting tired by the end there of the second game, but they had a much better game offensively in the second one. We scored almost the same amount of points. I think we scored 122 and 120, and so it was very close. But I want to talk about some highlights there. This tenacious defense we're seeing from the Lions.
Jack Black?
Tenacious
that's Tenacious D. My bad.
Is going to be, you can see BJ wants to keep that pressing going the entire game. That takes a lot of fitness, takes a lot of these guys having to be in shape. And they got to learn to not foul a lot. I foresee fouls being a big issue. If we saw that at NAU, I believe Vontae fouled out of the first game, perhaps.
And Jaden as well, like I mentioned, Jaden Cameron. And it was just hard defense. He was just playing right up on him. And
and
when you're playing that hard and that close to the offensive player, you're open for those kind of calls.
Right.
Even if there were a couple I think that were called that I was watching that was like, I don't know about that, but that's going to happen when you're playing that hardcore defense. You're opening yourself up for some calls. But yeah, it was fun to watch the 2 games you called. I loved the energy you brought. Obviously, the energy the guys brought was amazing too. Yeah. And the way they played through the whole game was something that stuck with me too. You know, when you're up 30, 40 points, you could have just taken the foot off the gas and said, we're good. And for better or worse, whether you think that they should or not, they played hard the entire. When I say that, I mean, some people think you run up the score. Well, no, you just play your game the whole time. And they brought in subs and they brought in new guys that hadn't been seen. So
they're, I was excited to see some of the younger players, the freshmen and transfer sophomores who we haven't got a chance to look at. The back of the end of the bench all got lots of playing time. Devin Miller got some good minutes and got to play.
Donovan, Joseph, they were there.
Donovan Averett is going to be fun to watch, as well. Joseph Voorhees as well, really good. And Drew Owens had some good minutes, had some good boards. Marshall Curley's going to be the sharpshooter.
It's not. I'm telling you. I told my wife this when we were, because we're literally on a cruise ship watching your game, and I told her, I said that's the guy they needed since we lost Roman a couple years ago.
It reminds me of Roman.
We haven't had that true. I mean, we've had guys that can shoot the 3, but not that he's there to shoot the 3 most of the time.
Yeah,
and he hit 3 or 4.
Both games. I think he hit maybe 3 both games. He was in double figures both games.
Yeah.
Off the bench, and
that sparks a run so fast too. If you can knock off, he hit the first game. I think he hit 2 back-to-back, and I mean that's a 6-point swing right away, and that's demoralizing for the defense.
It is. So. It is. They're definitely guard you right now, all guards pretty much, but
all guards plus Jimmy.
I was going to add Jimmy and Mo.
Yeah,
did some good work down low, and you kind of have Willie as a little bit of a swing.
Yeah.
And so
he's kind of a 3, 4-ish kind of.
Frager played well too. Then you've got like Ray and Vontae and of course JD and Jaden. And then Meach did good defense, locked down their point guard a little bit. He scored more points in the second game, but
and we've got Bird too. He played
Gabe Bird.
I would say played a pretty traditional point guard role in terms of facilitating. But also scored a couple himself.
Yeah, and Meach is kind of the backup point guard off the bench right now, and so that's looking good. I love the Jaden to JD connection when those guys get going with that lob game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jaden Cameron's dunked 2 back-to-back, which I didn't even know the bro could get up there like that. So that was impressive.
I think we saw it maybe once or twice last year when he got up in, but that was open court and everything. So yeah, he's coming along as well, but.
Yeah, I thought JD was basically, I'm going to go ahead and work on my reel and he was just highlight after highlight.
Put
after
back
highlight.
dunks and
oh gosh,
lob dunks.
He had like 6 in a span of like a 5-minute span. He had like 6 dunks off lobs and putbacks in his own creation. So it's going to be fun to watch throughout this year. I'd love to see them progress. Like that's what we see every year with these guys. It's a long season for them. And so hopefully they can give Idaho State. Is that the team they're playing?
So they got Park tonight, which will be over by tomorrow. And then they got Idaho State this weekend. They're traveling, which I believe is Big Sky again, which is the same conference.
Another ESPN Plus game. And then they have one more a little bit later, I believe.
And Idaho State's a reachable game. I was telling you before we started the podcast. I mean, Park took them to, I think they lost by 8 or 9. Maybe it was 11 that they lost to Idaho State. And Justice plays right with Park traditionally, and within 10 or so. So if we can play strong, who knows what can happen in Idaho.
Absolutely.
That'd be a beautiful, unexpected win for Idaho if we came back with that. But we know what these guys can do, especially after these last 2 games watching them. I think the other thing that stuck with me is you see guys acknowledge when another guy gets on a roll. Yeah. And they kind of, I won't say they defer, but you got Ray scoring 29 against NAU, but then when JD started going off against Navajo Tech, Ray kind of
back to where
he played his role, but he wasn't a ball hog. He didn't try and get everything himself. He realized my teammates having a game, we're going to go that route. And JD scores 29, 25 the next game.
Right.
So I love to see that. Hopefully that continues all around where guys, they just want to win. And so they're looking who has a hot hand. Let's feed that.
Playing to the strength feeds into what you wanted to talk about today.
It does.
Yeah.
It's almost like a segue.
It's a great segue.
Yeah. You ever ridden a Segway before?
I've not. I'm afraid I would kill myself.
Yeah, I'm way too big for that. But I saw a bunch of them on vacation this week, and I'm like, not only would I never ride one, but I certainly wouldn't do it in a foreign country that I've never been to before.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not wise.
Yeah, no, I was just wanting to talk about just acknowledging. I think sometimes we try and be everything to everybody. I think there's a lot of people pleasers that are out there, but there's even more so, especially in athletics when you look at you're trying to secure minutes, you're trying to secure your spot, so you feel like you have to do everything all the time. Right. And there's something to be said about leaning into the gifts that God's given you and the talents that you're naturally filled with. It's not to say you don't do all the other things that you need to do to be a part of a team. Right. But, in class, I was telling you, we used the illustration of like a Greg Maddux, for instance, when he played back for the Braves. And yes, he's a good hitter, but he was a phenomenal pitcher. So he's hitting 250, striking out 167 batters. Should he be spending more time to get that average to 270, or should he be focused on striking out 175 batters, right? So a lot of times we feel like we have to be everything to everybody, and I think it's important in athletics to do your job, do what the coach tells you to do, but also for the coaches allowing people to kind of lean into what they're best at. And I think we saw some of that just in those couple of games of basketball, where JD's obviously a scorer, Ray's a scorer, and that's what they leaned into in those games. Doesn't mean they don't play defense, doesn't mean they don't rebound, but they lean into what they're strong enough with. So, I don't know, just kind of hit me with those games, and then we talked about it in my class yesterday because of a book we're reading, but I don't know what you think, but I kind of feel like that's key to success is leaning, not just in sports, but in life. Lean into what you're good at. If you can delegate the things that are weaknesses of yours, then great.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, identifying your strengths can be hard. Sometimes self-awareness is difficult. And that's where your trusted circle of people that know you best can really speak life and truth into you. And so when you do identify what you're good at and you go into working on getting even better at what you're good at, be thankful to God for that. Be grateful for the strengths God has given you. And as we come into Thanksgiving next week, right, it's good to just be thankful for what you have. Take stock of what you have. Those around you that are in your corner, your friends. I think too often we focus on what we don't have. We forget to thank God for what we do have. The strengths are from the Lord. Every good and perfect gift is from above, and including those gifts that are a strength inside your own person and your own ability. And so just definitely being thankful for that, and don't forget to turn back and thank God for the victory.
Yeah, that's something great. And I would encourage, not just because I am a parent and so are you, but a lot of the athletes that are listening to this, we get so busy. I played sports when I was a kid, but we get so busy being the athlete that we forget the sacrifice sometimes that our families have made, right? So just taking that time when you go home and you're having turkey, if you're doing that, to thank those, like you said, around you, your parents, your family, your friends, whoever's poured into you to help get you where you are. And then as coaches, sometimes you see you're always wanting to improve, right? And so it's easy as a coach to say, here's what didn't go well for us tonight, but to take time to really relish in those moments of the things that did go well. And I think most of our coaches do that. I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
But not to,
celebrate the wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an old, have you heard the Tom Hanks quote on if you wished, somebody asked him, if you knew something when you were younger, what would it be that you would have wished to have known? And he said, this too shall pass. If you think everything is going horrible in your life and nothing's going right, well, don't worry, this too shall pass, right?
I used that earlier today.
But if everything is great in your life and you're having you're playing the best you've ever played in your sport, don't worry, this too shall pass. You will have your down days.
Keeps you humble.
And so keep that. I used to tell, when I used to coach when I was younger, I used to tell the athletes, 24 hours is what you got. Celebrate the win for 24 hours, more than the loss for 24 hours, and then move on, because you can't dwell. But yeah, so lots of good stuff going on with Justice Athletics. I'm excited to see some scrimmages from baseball. We're not going to really touch on a bunch of those, but they did have one outside scrimmage against a local club team that they played a pretty good game, the one I was at. And then they had they're starting to do inter-squad scrimmages as well. So Coach Zach getting them ready to go and ironing out who that final roster is going to be for opening day.
Right.
I think they said he's got 40-something games scheduled, I think I saw.
Wow.
I don't think we're calling all of them, because that would be a lot of games.
Yes.
But even half of that's, 20 home games. So, and then sand volleyball coming up too. Just saw an announcement from the coach on their Instagram page as well that they're getting excited to get going, finalizing their roster out as well. So
a lot on the horizon.
Cool stuff going on. So yeah, if you get a chance, check out wherever Justice is. Basketball's gone away until about January. I think we figured out. So you'll have to go to them if you want to watch them play before then. But get out to a baseball scrimmage. Get somewhere to cheer them on. Watch them online if you can. But they need your support, right?
That's it.
And if you don't already, this is our shameless plug. Subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on social media on Instagram and Facebook at Prof G and Shively. And I think we'll probably not have a podcast again next week. I'm just gathering because it's Thanksgiving, and there's also a lot of games taking place before then. So we will look forward to seeing you on episode 13 the week after Thanksgiving. Matt, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for being here, man.
Talk to you guys next time.
Peace.